Hi, friends. Welcome to the Putting You Back Together Again show. I'm Rochelle Booker, aka Coach Ro. And today we have a very special guest joining us all the way from Miami, Florida. His name is Sam Daryuvala. Today's show, exciting show, is about finances. Are you managing your money or is your money managing you? In case you're wondering where my co host is, CJ, he is working on a wide variety of projects. And so, because of that, his busy schedule, he will only be joining me on a bi weekly basis. So, every other Tuesday, CJ will be with me. So, next week, he will be back in the studio with me. I don't want you to think that. I want you to think that he's ghosting me because last week we talked about ghosting and all of a sudden he's not here. So, he didn't cast for me. He will be back next Tuesday. So, thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate it. So today, as I mentioned, we're talking about finances because guess what? April is the month of financial literacy. So the reason why I wanted to have this show is to talk about finances so that you can be financially empowered. You can have the knowledge you need to help you to manage your finances and make better informed decisions on how you manage your money. That's very, very important. And Sam and I are going to go really take a deep dive into the do's and the don'ts, what the practical things are to manage your money. Very important because guess what? We want you to have financial prosperity, financial freedom and independence, and generational wealth. So there's some steps that we can take to help you build your wealth. And this won't be just a one and done. I'll continue to have these topics on financial management over the course of the year. So again, we want you to be informed because guess what? God does not want you to be ignorant. Just to give you a little bit of background, the trend that we're seeing is that most people are retiring at a later age, prolonging their retirement because they do not have adequate savings in place to be able to support their lifestyle. People are struggling, really struggling to keep their head above water and to, have their financial needs met. So it's something that we want to tackle, right? Because people are struggling to even pay their water bill, to pay their rent, their mortgage, just to survive. And survival is key because if you're not surviving, you're not thriving. That means you're in a real tough spot. Your stress levels probably high. So we want to reduce that. We want you to live a very comfortable lifestyle, and we want you to be equipped with the knowledge and the tools to help you to do that. So savings is really important. Most people, as you know, are living paycheck to paycheck. And if you're not doing it, more than likely, you know someone who is doing it. And you know what some of the biggest reasons are that people find themselves in a tight spot? Inflation is one reason. Prices are going up, as you know. I'm sure you felt it. But guess what? Wages and salaries are staying flat. Salaries aren't increasing to keep up with the level of inflation. So that's one of the biggest reasons that people are struggling. And layoffs has been, pretty prominent in our society over these last few months or last year. And you may have been hit with layoffs, or someone that you know has been laid off. And it's or if you're not laid off, you're underemployed. So you're not even working to your potential. So that means you're not earning as much as you could be earning if you're underemployed. And personal spending is out of control. So a lot of people don't have a spending plan in place. And so they're not managing their spending. So their spending has gotten out of control. So that's another reason why people are struggling. It's almost like they have holes in their pocket, right? They get, they make a paycheck. On one hand, they're bringing money in and depositing in their account. Other hand, the money's gone. You're like scratching your head. Where did my money go? So again, it's lack of managing your spending habits. And another reason why people are really struggling is because of too much debt. So we're going to get into that too, about high debt and how we can manage that and help you to reduce that and get that under control. So we want to help you to change your trajectory of having a financial crisis. We want to equip you, empower you, and take you to that next level of financial freedom and independence. So that's the reason why I brought Sam on the show, because Sam is wealthy. He's doing very well for himself. And actually, he was able to retire at a very, very early age. A lot younger than most people. So that's why I wanted to bring him on the show so that he can share his powerful story with you guys. So, Sam, tell us about your life's journey and how did you get to where you are?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Ro, for having me today. Anytime I'm able to share some nuggets and give back, I always want to stand up and do so, because that's exactly how I came to be where I'm at right now, is by taking some knowledge from those around me. I've had some awesome mentors that I've always looked up to that impressed me because they took the time to share a little bit about their history with my present day. That way I can do the same thing for those behind me or those along with me. So, but I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm right there in the H. I was born and raised in Cypress, right off of Highway 290 and Hofmeister. And my mother still lives there. And but after graduating high school, I went to Cypress High School there. I went to Morehouse College in Atlanta. I graduated with degrees in psychology and Spanish, which I still use today. I feel like America, especially right there in Texas, y'all are big 50-50 English Spanish in terms of speakers. And then I did some private sector work, marketing, advertising, public relations, sales. In 2004, I joined the federal service. So I left that and jumped into the public sector. And for 18 approximate years, I worked as an emergency manager and former chief for FEMA under Homeland Security.
Okay.
But all along the way, I was saving money. I was making money, saving money, and investing money. And I started investing in 2009 during President Obama's first term in office. But that is what really kind of set me apart from a lot of my peers, is that while they were spending, while they were bottle popping, while they were buying the fancy cars, on lavish trips, I was saving.
Yeah.
And so now while they go to work, I'm going to the beach. So that's the big difference.
Yeah, I bet. That's great. That's great. Well, thank you for that, Sam. I appreciate it. Yes, you are Houston native. So yeah, you don't meet too many natives these days. So yeah, thank you for that. Oh, in case you guys just joined us, today we are talking about finances. Are you managing your money or is your money managing you? So drop your comments or questions in the chat and give us a call, because we definitely want you to interact with us and get plugged into this conversation. So Sam, I've got a few questions for you.
Okay.
So tell us the message behind Value the Penny.
Oh, wow. I love this. Well, before I get started on that one, I typically like to use plain language whenever I speak, because I never know how old the audience is. So no matter what I say, it's very layman, very fifth grade level. Anybody from 5 to 50 can understand it. I don't know if you're too good to pick up a penny on the street when you see it, but I'm not. I never have been. My granny used to always tell me, value the penny, take care of the penny, because dollars will take care of themselves.
Right.
My mother also pushed that into my brain, and she was a penny pincher. And she's also someone that was smart with her finances and has been able to help others in need when they had needs, because she was valuing the penny. My granny and my mother always said, pennies make sense.
Yeah.
SENSE as well as CENTS, both. It's a mental game and it's a financial game. And so pennies add up to dollars, dollars add up to thousands. Next thing you know, you have a nice pocket, not just for that rainy day, but for beyond. You can help out your family, your friends. You can give to charities. You can start your own. You could be a philanthropist, something that I aspire to be, not just a humanitarian, but I want to be a philanthropist. I want to write checks for people in need, particularly children. But that's how I have taken every single penny that I've seen. If it's not too dirty, sometimes it's too dirty or covered in gum or something.
Right.
If it's okay, I'll pick it up, and if it's not for me, I'll put it in a piggy bank and I'll give it to a nephew, a niece, or somebody.
Right.
Because it grows. It grows over time.
It does. And that's just such an invaluable message that she's instilled in you at such an early age, and it stayed with you your whole life. So that's amazing. That's awesome. Talk to us about Rule 50, 30, and 20, and how do we apply this to our lives?
Oh, that's a good rule. And I think that, if you have a chance, use this as a screensaver on your phone or your laptop. If you have magnets with kids that use magnets on the refrigerator, put this in your magnets on the refrigerator, or lipstick on the mirror in the morning. You can always refer back to 50, 30, 20. 50% of your income. If you make $5,000 a month, all right, 50% of that should go towards your needs, right? Your rent, your mortgage, your car payment, gas, utilities, food. 30% of your monthly income should go to your wants. So your discretionary spending. So if you're taking your young lady out to eat, or you're going to the movies, or going out dancing and having drinks with the fellas, or happy hour, whatever the case may be, that's your discretionary spending. Those are your wants, or new clothes, a new pair of kicks, a bag. And then 20% goes towards savings. And that's the key. That's the part that most people don't do. They put 50% on wants and they put 50% on needs.
Right.
And don't have no money saved.
Right.
And so there's no money growing. There's no money making money for them. So, but that's the rule of 50% goes towards your needs, 30% goes towards your wants, 20% goes towards your savings.
Okay. Well, I love that. Yeah, that's a rule that we all need to adopt, right? And to live by. That's awesome. I love it. So when a man asks you out, ladies, make sure you throw that back at him. Hey, you should be spending 30% of your income on taking me out. So
exactly right. If she knows it, she's got the game. She got the game on lock. As long as she still knows that he needs to save 20% also for the future, then that's the one you want to keep, guys. That's the one you want to keep. If she's talking about the 20% as well.
It's all about balancing. It's a balancing act, right?
Of course it is. Definitely.
Yeah, we have to live a balanced life. So how did you navigate the pandemic while managing your money?
Well, I took some notes here. Where is it here? So obviously, blessed by the hand of God. I'm lucky, blessed, and fortunate. So I was lucky enough to get through the pandemic without getting sick. And I was actually, I raised my hand. It was my last project, basically, with the federal government supporting the pandemic in Arizona. I was working for Governor Doug Ducey out there supporting that pandemic. And I think, a lot of our stations were pumping out 5,000 shots a day, 5,000 vaccinations a day. Wow. So the way I weathered it, the way I got through it, was just staying focused on others, just giving back my time. But I was basically applying the same principles because of the uncertainty in the market. Whenever we have something like a war or an election year like this year, or geopolitical, warfare, or a pandemic,
right?
It's hard to make money in the market. It's hard to make money in real estate. It's hard. People put their money under the mattress. They retreat. But what I did is, because I had a nest egg, because of those pennies that added up to dollars, I made sure I had dividend yielding stocks that played well with the pandemic. Okay. Where were people going to get their products? They went to Walmart. They went to Costco. They were buying in bulk, right? They were buying in bulk to save money. And they didn't want to be out in the public. So they bought in bulk. That way they can go home and stay home, be safe, masked up, away from people that were coughing and sneezing, not knowing how to cover their face in the public, right? And so I bought dividend yielding stocks like that. I bought Walmart. I bought Costco. I had
Zoom.
I had Zoom. I own Zoom as well. There's some other ones. Oh yeah, I had Pfizer. I had Eli Lilly because Pfizer had one of the vaccinations, right? I had and Amazon, because everyone was ordering from home, right? Picking up the phone and ordering. Everything was coming to their doorstep. So I had Amazon as well. The good thing about these stocks is that they were dividend yielding. So even if the stock was moving sideways or slightly ticking up, it was still green because of the dividends that they offer you every single quarter. So that's how I weathered the pandemic. I was still smart. I wasn't paying things. I didn't buy things I wasn't paying, purchasing before. But I had those dividend yielding stocks that helped me get through the volatile market at the time.
Oh, wow. Just a genius. I mean, so you're a self-made millionaire.
I first became a millionaire a few years ago, and it was never a goal of mine to have that designation. It just happened. I looked at my assets and my liquidity, and I just said to myself, I cannot believe this. I had a rental property in Houston at the time as well, and it just changed my life. So and by the way, I didn't inherit money. I didn't come from money. I was a W-2 employee. Like 90% of Americans. I got a W-2. I just didn't spend frivolously, and I saved. That's the difference.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. Back to the 50, 30, 20. Yeah, you were doing your 20% of saving, or probably more than that. Yeah, and did it take a lot of, or I bet it took a lot of self-discipline rather, to be able to stay focused on that the rule 20, the 50, 30, 20, and not being able to overindulge in the things that most people do.
I think you mentioned earlier, Ro, the balance of life, right? So I still was traveling the world. I still was going out. I was still treating my lady, to nice dinners and trips and vacations and cruises. I loved that. I remember one of my dates was to Paris. And we had dinner in the Eiffel Tower. So I like to have experiences. But I would save for those experiences. Some people want an experience every single month. You're going to get an experience like twice a year, but the two experiences twice a year are going to be bomb. They're going to be fire. They're going to be memorable, something that we can cherish. So I just made sure it wasn't as consistent as some others would be.
Gotcha. Boy, ladies, did y'all hear that? He was dating someone and took her to Paris. We barely even can go to a high-end steak restaurant. Okay, that's a whole nother show, but okay.
Oh Lord, that's fun.
So you mentioned rental property, so it sounds like you made some investments in real estate. So how did you use use rental property to supplement your income?
So because I believed in that 50, 30, 20 rule, and you're right, I always was putting in more than 20%. I was putting in more like 35%. I was able to buy a house in 2007, 2006, something like that, before Obama's first term. And it was right there in Cypress, right there off of Cypress, Rose Hill, Fry Road. Yep. I wanted a rental property close to my mother, just in case if I moved back to Texas and she was getting older, I would have a place to stay. Okay. It was brand new, on the water, 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 33 feet, 2-car garage. I loved it. I never stayed a day in that house, but I put tenants in it, and those tenants paid not only for the mortgage. It paid for the taxes, it paid for the interest, it paid for the utilities. And of course, the housing market continues to go up. That's one of the surest investments in the world, right? Is real estate. They always say, Spike Lee said it, 40 acres and a mule. They didn't give it to us. We had to get it ourselves, 40 acres and a mule. So that's what did it for me. So it was no money out of my pocket for the house because my tenants would pay for everything. If you just equated your rental to the apartment complexes that are out there charging people, $2,000 a month for a 3-bedroom, whatever the case may be. If you just use that same principle, you're making money in real estate. And what made a difference for me is that my property was new and it came with a warranty. So when anything went wrong with the house, I just called the 800 number and they were there within 48 hours to fix the issue.
Right.
Beyond the warranty, I just had a good contractor, which was my brother, the house doctor, by the way, John Daryavala, the house doctor of Houston. I got to give him a plug. He's there for you. He was fixing everything that I needed beyond the warranty. And so that's all you need is one good general contractor to take care of that. And so with that, it was just profit. It was just money coming in. I was ringing the register every single month. And the best thing, bro, is that not only was the house bringing me the income, but I would take the profits and I would put it into the stock market. So now I'm ringing the register twice a month.
Nice. Gotcha. Nice.
That's how I use the real estate game to my advantage.
Ah, I see. We have oh, that's a smart man right there. Bird. Okay, thank you for that comment, Bird.
Mr.
Very,
Sinatra's in the building. I see you.
yes, Sinatra. We love you. We love you. Thank you for that. Thank you for showing us some love. And yes, he's a very smart man. That's why I have him on the show. Does that make me smart too? Yes. And so, but back to the housing, you know, now the dynamics have changed. The whole market has really shifted quite a bit. Now people are just trying to buy a home, you know, realize the American dream. Even that's challenging these days, right? Interest rates are really high. So you want to make a comment about that?
Yeah, I think the last report I saw, the interest rate is back up above 7%.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Well, I tell you one thing. Right there in Texas, we got a lot of Hispanics, right? A lot of Mexicans, a lot of El Salvadorians and South Americans that are filtering into Texas.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're putting their money together. So you don't have to do it alone. You could do it with your brother, your sister, your cousins, a friend.
There you
Because instead of putting that money in a rental property that's not giving you no ROI, no return on investment, they are putting their hands together. They're working together. They're either doing construction, they're jumping into trucks at Home Depot. They're working all day. They're putting the money together to pay for a mortgage. And guess what? 15, 20 years from now, they're owning that property, and then they're trying to buy the property next to it. Next thing you know, they're owning the entire street. I don't know how many Mexican families, Mexican communities have come on board over the last 20 years, all throughout Houston and the surrounding areas with that one philosophy.
Wow.
It's the power of one working with another, putting their money together with someone that they trust to get through it, regardless of the interest rates. They're still buying. As you notice, people are still buying homes, regardless of the rates.
Yeah.
It's harder if you have just, you know, your own income, or it's just you and your spouse, especially if you have children, you still have college debt you're paying. But look at what these minorities are doing, particularly the Mexicans in Texas. And that's exactly how they're beating it in these high interest rates.
I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. And I see a lot of Asian families living together too. So African Americans, our community, we aren't quite there yet. We've made progress, but I think we've got a lot more work to do in terms of the family dynamics and doing things more together, supporting our community and our businesses. That's something we definitely need to focus more on in doing that. And I think we'll get there. Yeah. Okay. And is he still with us?
Yes, he had to open up another window. It looks like I'm gonna put him back in right now.
Sorry,
there he is.
A little troubleshooting here. Thank you for that. Okay, next question. What advice would you give to people who are struggling to manage their money and who want to have financial freedom?
All right, so I wrote this down because I wanted to get this one right. You know, so I said it's not only about making money; it's also about saving money.
Yes. Investing
those savings beyond a savings account. And most importantly, reducing your spending behavior.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, bad spending habits cut deep, deep, deep into your pockets.
Yes.
People don't know how to say no to the new Gucci slides or the Gucci flip-flops or the Louis handbags. You know, they don't know how to say no to the new Jordans that just came out, or especially, this is one thing I see all the time. And by the way, the reason why I own Starbucks stock and I don't drink Starbucks coffee is because the lines are always around the corner. Just like when you walk into an Apple store at the mall, you have to register before you walk in now. Sometimes the lines are outside the door to get into Apple store. So that's the reason why I own Apple stock. I own Starbucks stock because the lines are always out the door. But $5 for a cup of coffee, Ro? Are you kidding me? Yeah. You can get a Keurig on Amazon for less than $100.
That's right.
And you can buy K-Cups at Walmart or Costco for $35 for 72 cups of coffee. So do the math. If you just take the difference between what you would be spending in Starbucks and if you made your own coffee at home, you would own several shares of Apple, which is just above $100 a share every single year. on Starbucks stock. I mean, I'm sorry, on Apple stock, if you just avoid spending money on Starbucks.
Wow.
So I think that if people just stopped and said to myself, do I really need that $5 cup of coffee? It tastes great. I mean, the caramel macchiato, I mean, I've had it. I love it. But I'd rather the money work for me. I'm not trying to make the CEO and the board of directors at Starbucks richer, you know, because they already got the money. They're multi-billionaires.
That's right.
Why are we making them richer? They're not giving us any money. We're giving them money and they already got the money. So it's kind of backwards, you know?
Yeah, absolutely agree. Now that's great insight. Thank you for that. We got another comment from Mr. Sinatra. Teamwork really makes dream work. So that's exactly right.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Yes, it does.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you for that. And you know, those of you who just tuned in, today's show is on finances. Are you managing your money, or is your money managing you? It's all about financial literacy. We want to empower you. We want you to have knowledge to make better informed decisions when it comes to managing your money. So we are making some very important and critical points that we hope that you are receiving and understanding. And please drop it in the chat. You've got questions, or give us a call if you want to chime in on what your experience has been. And let us know. We want to hear from you. And one of the things I like to ask people, Sam, is what legacy are you leaving behind for your family? So if you were to die today, what would happen to your family?
So one of some of the best conversations I've had with my mother, my siblings, and my nephews and nieces. Well, mostly my siblings and my mother. My nephews and nieces is going to be a surprise for them, but they're my beneficiaries.
Yeah.
You know, so if something happened to me today, they're going to be set, you know, at least with what I've made. And I hope that they can take, you know, the discipline that I put into this nest egg for my family. I don't have a wife. I don't have children of my own, but hopefully, God willing, I have both in time. I set my life up to be successful. You know, going to Morehouse was the first step, really. I should say this, going to the Lord's house, going to church every Sunday was the first step. Morehouse College, the other house, not the Lord's house, but Morehouse was the second step. But it was the jobs that I had, the mentors that I had that allowed me to say to myself, what can I do? My legacy is going to be giving back to those in need. These are people in my family. These are people that I don't even know. I've been doing it over 43 different states, including tribes in our territories since 2004. And I fell in love with it. It's the reason why I consider myself a humanitarian. But with my money, I hope they'll use that same discipline and put them in college or buy a home or continue to invest. And again, during the election year, dividend yielding stocks, household names, things that we hear all the time, right? Like Coca-Cola or AT&T, great dividend yielding stocks that offer 3 to 5%, annual return. But that's what I want my legacy to be. Someone who worked hard, someone who believed in work ethic, someone who valued education, someone who put God first and family a close second. And let me just inject this real quick, Ro. My grandmother, her name is Ruthie Mae Jackson. Her family hails from Bonware, Texas. It's east side of Texas, Newton, Orange, past Beaumont, all that. And then my grandfather's Crockett, Texas. But he was a shoe shiner. And he used to make a nickel a shining shoes, a nickel. And she was a school teacher. And not incomes that are through the roof. This is very small incomes, right? A nickel a shine, school teaching. He was able to take that nickel a shine and open up his own Jackson shoe shop in Crockett, Texas, where not only was he shining shoes, but he was refurbing shoes and doing, shoe repair and heel repair. And he was like the man on the hill. Right. But they put 5 children through college. Wow. For those 2 incomes. But it was discipline. They cooked their food in the house. They didn't go out to eat. It was cooking food. They had a farm. They had cows. They had pigs. And, hogs. Corn and tomatoes. That's what they did. They lived off the land, but they was able to put all their children through college. So I hope that what I've done with my life, if I were to go tomorrow, God brings me on home, then they use my investments wisely and they put that education first for them.
Well, that's awesome. I love it. What a beautiful, powerful legacy. And you're right. It is all about mindset. It's all about mindset, and we have to shift our thinking. And as a financial coach, that's one of the things that I empower and I pour into my clients to do that. Because to your point, a lot of people go back to how they were raised, right? I mean, a lot of times we are products of our environment. And even in college, I was not taught a whole lot about how to manage money in college. I mean, I'm degreed, you're degreed, a lot of our audience, or most maybe of our audience, is degreed, and I was not taught that, how to manage your money. And my producers is also like, yeah, in agreement, nodding his head, like, exactly. So we kind of had to learn that as we go in life. Unfortunately, some people still haven't learned it. We're still trying to find our way. But it is about it is about discipline, right? And it's about mindset. And we do need to shift our mindset when it comes to how we manage our money. There's a reason why, and not just from layoffs, which is out of our control, but a lot of things are in our control. And the things that we can control, we need to do a better job of managing that. And to your point about spending, I have some statistics here I want to show about why people are struggling, particularly the middle class. So if you're spending an extra $13.70 per day, that could be at Starbucks or anywhere, fast food, that's equivalent to $5,000 per year, right? But if you invest that money annually with a rate of 8% return, that would give you an extra $252,000 in your retirement. $250,000, that's $250,000. Are you kidding me? From just cutting back the $13.70 per day on that Starbucks or fast food, on that hamburger and fry. Right?
Compounding interest.
Yes, this is what we're talking about. Exactly. But we don't think on that level. So again, shifting our mindset to think about that money adds up. That's $5,000 a year that we could allocate to a retirement fund. And also, we need to have an emergency fund. A lot of people don't have an emergency fund. You talked about savings of 20%. So if people were to lose their job today, the research tells us that only a third of the American adults have 1 month of savings. Only 1/3. 2/3 of people do not have that. So that's scary. That's scary, because we recommend that people should have at least 3 to 6 months of money saved up as for an emergency fund. So that's scary. So back to that about family legacy. So we want to hear from you guys. Put some comments in your chat. But we want to know, how many of you have wills? How many of you have trusts? How many of you have life protection and estate planning in place? Because if you were to die and you have you're still paying a mortgage on your house is going to go to probate, right? So you've got to have a will in place to protect your assets that you worked hard for. And your assets could be tied up in probate for years and years. So you could have equity in that house, but your family may not get it and be able to sell it and get the equity out of it. So having a will in place is very important. And you don't have to be a millionaire to get a will in place. And I want you to email me if that's something that you need help with, because that's something I can definitely help you with. And it's very inexpensive, but something that's very important to do, to have in place. So one of the things that Sam talked about is high yielding, high dividend yielding investments. So that's one thing that he was able to capitalize on and take advantage of. But another thing I wanted to talk to you about is index universal life insurance. That's like a whole life insurance. And a lot of people don't even have insurance. So, again, with the will, estate planning, insurance is part of that whole package of protecting your family. Because we don't know when God is going to call us, home, right? From labor to reward. We don't know that. Only God knows it. So now is a time to put some things into place. And some of you may have a term life insurance, and that's great because it's really cheap and that can cover you. You might have $1 million, $500,000 or something. And that's great. But also we want you to have an index universal life because that's something that will grow. That's something that will give you cash value. And if you need to borrow from that, you can do that as well. So that's your money is growing in an IUL versus term life. If let's say you outlive the insurance policy, it expires when you turn, let's say 60 and you're still living. There's no cash value. You can't trade that in for money. But with an index universal life policy, you can. So again, email me and I'll give you some more information, take a deeper dive with you. But that's something that's very safe. It's very stable. There's not downside risk like with your 401k. It's tied to the market, your 401k. And so there's a lot of downside risk as well with your 401k. Whereas the IUL is very stable. It grows. There's a lot of growth potential. But the good thing is there's no downside risk. So you're not losing money, right? So that's something that I want you to think about, to put on your mind and think about, how that could really benefit yourself and your family. So again, email me if you want more information about that. Sam, do you want to have
some good nuggets? I got some family I'm thinking about right now. I'm gonna put into you.
Oh, yeah, tell me, give me a call.
I definitely will.
Right quick. Coach,
yes, sir.
Right quick, Coach Rowe. I have a funny guy, a friend of mine is chiming in. His name is Jay Reckless. He has his own podcast. And I posted on my page, I said, is your money managing you or are you managing your money?
Yes.
And he said both.
Very common.
Jay Reckless, you're more than welcome to call in, sir. The phone number is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. It is 832-560-2885. Anyone else that's tuned in on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, you're more than welcome to call in on topic at 832-560-2885.
Yes. And we can talk about debt. Debt is another thing that's spiraling out of control, right? And people don't realize when they go buy a new car, that depreciates the moment you drive off the car lot. So, we've got to get a handle on debt. I mean, and that's credit card debt. We turn to our credit cards, buying things that we just don't need. Back to your point, do we need it or is it something we just want? If it's a want, guess what? If we can't afford to pay cash for it, that can wait. That can wait. Or if you've got at the end of the month, you've got the money, pay off your credit card. That way you're not accumulating a debt and you're not paying these high double digit interest rates that are just going through the roof, that are just ridiculous. So yeah.
You know what, Ro, on that point, let me just say, on that point, Ro, I lived in DC, right outside of DC in Arlington, Alexandria, Virginia, for about 10 years. And I noticed how popular it was for people to carpool together.
Yes.
Because they're saving money on maintenance, they're saving money on gas, they're saving money on the car payment itself, and they're saving money on parking, if I didn't say parking already. And so they carpool. So they're saving this money that way they can buy that car in cash 5 years later or 10 years later. But that's what they did down south in Texas or all the southern states. People don't know how to carpool nowhere. They don't do that. Like, I want my privacy. I want to bump to my own music,
Yeah.
So that's what they did. And these people in DC, it's the highest salary caps throughout the United States. Everyone's making 100,000 plus in DC because it's basically federal jobs, but they're carpooling and they're saving that money. We got to apply that down south.
We do. I absolutely agree. Great point. Yeah, you're right. We don't do that. And we don't have a public transportation system in place that we can use that, would be a lot cheaper than spending money on gas. So we really don't even have that much of an option there either. But I absolutely agree. People don't want to be inconvenienced. They want to leave when they want to leave, go where they want to go after work. And unfortunately, we don't see a lot of, not to mention carpooling is also good for the environment. So, you've got two benefits there.
Win-win.
Yeah, win-win, saving money and improving the environment, making it more sustainable, right?
Yes.
And one quick statistic on debt. I love data and statistics, right? Because numbers don't lie. Numbers speak volume. Household debt across all categories grew by 4.8% from Q3 of 2022 to Q3 of 2023. It grew by 4.8%. And the total household debt is $17.3 trillion entering 2024 as a new high for the U.S. $17.3 trillion. It's out of control. Yeah, it's out of control. So it's we've got to get a handle on our spending. And one of the things I wanted to mention too about debt, I help people. If you've got student loan debt, as a financial coach, I partner with a company who will help you with eliminating that debt or forgiving it altogether, reducing it or forgiving it. So there's that student loan debt forgiveness that we can help you with. So if you've got student loan debt, that's federal loans, not private loans, but federal loans over $25,000, give me a call or send me an email and I'll work with you to see if we can get that debt eliminated. Because if you can reduce that or eliminate your debt, student loan debt, guess what? That's money that's freed up that you can put in your savings, that you can make. Yeah, savings,
that's
right?
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's worth an email. That's worth a phone call right there.
Yes. So, and you will probably be, most people are getting approved. So while the money is allocated to this program, let's use it and take advantage of it. So send me an email and let's see if we can get you approved. Yes. We got a comment?
Just making sure that they know your email is on the screen.
Yes.
And I'll also put your website, your hyperlink is in the comments. All they have to do is click on it and go to a putting you back together again website. You can send her an email right here on the screen, everybody. Contact Coach Rowe, executive leader, transformational business, financial and life coach, radio talk show host. You can contact her at email puttingyubta@outlook.com.
Yes.
Back to the
All
show.
right. Thank you for that. Thank you. And another thing that we want to talk about, Sam, I think should really touch on, we're talking about building generational wealth, right? Or people are saying, hey, I make, I'm a W-2 employee and I only make X amount of money. My money's not growing. Inflation's going up, right? But my wages aren't keeping up with the rate of inflation. Well, another thing we can look at is diversifying your income streams, right? You don't have to just have one stream of income. So we are encouraging to get a side hustle, get you something on the side to where legal, not anything illegal now. We don't want you to catch a case, but something legal to where you are making some more money outside of your W-2 job. And if you don't have anything in mind or you're not sure what to do, again, I can help you with that. I've got some part-time opportunities where you can be a 1099 independent contractor where you can make some good money on the side. So again, email me and let me know if you're interested and I'll get you hooked up to some side hustles where you can make some extra money.
Hook it up.
I will hook you up. And that's money that you can use to pay off your debt, right? We just talked about debt and how it's just strangling people. So yeah. So if you need some help there, please shoot me an email and I'll love to jump in and hook you up. And another thing, if you are an entrepreneur, hey, we're trying to empower you here. If you are an entrepreneur and you were in business during 2021 during COVID, you could be eligible for a self-employed tax credit. It's called SETC is the acronym. And if you make more than $6,000 and you're a single member LLC or DBA or 1099 contractor, you could be eligible up to $16,000 of a tax refund. So again, send me an email and I'll give you more information, but it's free money. It's not a loan.
Wow.
So
those are some nuggets. Those are some nuggets right there.
Yes, I'm trying to tell you because a lot of people, again, I'm all about awareness and informing people, making people, educating people and generating that awareness and information so they can take advantage of it. Yes, sir.
Excuse me for just a second, y'all. We have Miss Dee Dee Herring tuning in. She says the problem with a side hustle is having the money to start. She wants the email. Her email, ma'am. Her email will be on the screen momentarily. Her email is right here at puttingyubta@outlook.com. That's her email right there. Miss Dee Dee Herring is commenting. Miss Dee Dee Herring, you're also more than welcome to call in, ma'am, at 832-560-2885. If you didn't hear the whole number, it's right there under your nose. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen, 832-560-2885. She says thank you. Miss Dee Dee Herring said thank you.
You're so welcome, Dee Dee, and I look forward to connecting with you. Yes.
You know what? On that point, I noticed that a lot of people here in Miami, they are driving Uber. They're driving Lyft to bring in extra income to get the money for that startup capital for their business to become that entrepreneur. So I just want to throw that in there real quick, that's how they're doing it out here.
Yes. Okay. We got a comment from Anthony. Great show. Thank you, CJ, for introducing me. Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks, Ant.
Comment. Yes, we appreciate that. Yes, and some people may not feel safe with driving Uber because you've got people in your car. So everyone kind of has their own preference. And so what I'm talking about, you can actually do from home. This is a side hustle you can actually do remotely. So if you don't want to, have wear and tear on your vehicle, right? Because you got to use your own personal vehicle. Again, send me an email and I'll get you hooked up. And this work you can do predominantly, you can do remotely. So
very nice.
It's a good setup. Yeah.
Oh yeah, very nice.
Yeah. And so Sam and I were talking about spending, right? So if you don't have a spending plan in place, again, contact me because I want to offer you a free financial plan. So you don't have to pay for it. This is what I'm giving away. And I will spend an hour with you or, hour and a half that we can go through this. I can walk you through this segment of actually helping you put together a financial plan. Everybody needs one. Financial plan, spending plan, and it will really, really enlighten you and open your eyes and help you to better manage your money. So again, email me and we can get a meeting scheduled, Zoom meeting scheduled to do a financial plan. So I want to hear from you.
You said it's free?
It's free.
If it ain't free, it ain't me.
And tell your friends. Don't just hold this, I'm a woman of God. So when you hear good news, go and share the good news. It's like the gospel, right? Go and share the good news. Spread it. Tell your friends, your family, as many people as you know in your network, because, we all need to come together and unite to help empower our communities. Let's not keep it to ourselves and sit on it. Let's share it with other people and be a blessing to other people.
On that note,
reach one, teach one. I love it.
On that note, Coach Rowe and Sam, I have a round of applause. And that was for the Reach One, Teach One, reaching the community and empower each other. That was for that comment because a lot of people don't believe in reaching back and empowering people.
Yes. So. A lot of people don't believe in that, reaching back and empowering people. And, God blesses us to be a blessing. So let's not be a reservoir. Let's be a river. So let's allow God to send blessings through us. And guess what? You helping someone else or being blessed, opening up doors for other people or sharing information that we just shared with you. That's not going to block your blessings. That's going to even allow God to give you even more blessings and, and empower you even more because you are standing in the gap for someone else. Or you are helping other people. And that's what community is all about, is making a difference in the lives of other people. And that's the reason why I want to do this show. That's the reason why I have this radio talk show, is to be a blessing to you all, to people that your families, lift you up, empower you, and help you go to the next level. Because it's time for us to, guess what? Level up.
Level up.
Level up. Yes. Yes. Come on, send us some more chats. Call in. We want to hear from some callers. Anything else you got to share with us, Sam? What else can we share with our viewers?
Oh my goodness. I always say, I think you're talking about how God blesses those who blesses others. If you have the free time, life isn't all about making money. It's not all about just your own comfort zones. It's about creating an opportunity for equity and others to have a shot at success in life. So I'm all about, as a humanitarian that I am, I'm all about giving back, volunteering my time to soup kitchens or clothing drives or children that have any types of educational needs or health.
Mm-hmm.
Am I back?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. And that's how I think that God has been able to bless me richly, is because I'm always giving myself to others. Yeah. And so as a result, he just seems to always say, okay, Sam, I see you. Thank you. You're doing thankless work. You're doing work that doesn't bring in any income. Yeah. But it's making me rich in my heart, making me rich in my soul and my spirit. And so that's one thing I want to share with your audience, is that life is more than just making a big paycheck. It's all about not just what you do with that paycheck, but giving back when
Absolutely.
I think the Bible said it best. Like love is giving with no thought of getting.
Yes.
So that's how I would leave it there, Ro.
I love it. It's better to give than to receive. Yes, sir.
On that note, I'd like to piggyback off Sam. One of my other shows, they have a statement and they say it's the mission before the commission.
Ah, yeah, that's good.
Did you hear me, Sam?
Did you hear him?
Can you hear me, Sam?
Oh, can you hear us? It might be he might be frozen.
He might be frozen. Okay.
Yeah, that was a great point. Yeah, absolutely.
Mission before the commission. And, and I wanted to, when he comes back, I wanted to also add that they always say that, well, not that group, but another group says that it's bad. And I wanted to get his input because he's more seasoned than I am when it comes to giving back to the community. A lot of people have a problem with, say the community gives me $50,000 to feed the homeless. A lot of people see wrong in recording the incident, recording the event. I mean,
yeah.
How do you feel about that? Is that wrong? Am I doing it in vain? To us, we feel like you've given us $50,000. We're showing you where your money's going.
Yes, absolutely. No, I absolutely support that because I mean, even as an investor, if you're investing in a stock or in a company, you want to know where your money's going and how it's performing. Even at a church, at my church, we have annual meetings and we get reports on how the money was spent. Oh, you're back with us. Thanks, Sam. You hear us? Okay, great. So no, I think that's a great point. And I think we should show more of that. Where did the money go? How did it impact people? Right. How did it impact people? And not only that, it may encourage other people to do the same thing.
Yes, ma'am.
So
I wanted to pose a question to you, Samson. I wanted to pose a question to you because you're more seasoned when it comes to giving back to the community. You obviously have more experience than we do. We've been doing it a while, but not at the level that you are. So my question is, when you were off camera, is this: a lot of people have problems with us as a nonprofit, as an organization, when we're donated funds. And we've told the community that we're going to feed the homeless. We're going to have a toy drive for the children. People have a problem when we record the event saying that we're doing it to show off. But in fact, we're not. We're doing it to show the community where their funds are going. In your estimation, in your thoughts, is there a problem? Should there be a problem? Or should we be not recording like the community doesn't want us to do? Half of the community doesn't want us to do that. What are your thoughts on that?
They always say sometimes it's only the bad news that trickles up and you rarely get to hear the good news. All I say is this, is that there's more people thankful that you are recording and showcasing the goodness and how you're spreading the wealth and how you're giving back, how you're making the impact. This is how you're going to get new supporters. This is how you're going to get new volunteers. This is how you're going to get new sponsors. This is how you're going to get charitable organizations, basically a bird's eye view in terms of what you are doing for the people that have needs.
That's right.
So I don't want to call them haters. I mean, these are people with perspectives. But just know that there's more people that want you to keep doing what you're doing. Show it. Because if there's no visuals, people are going to ask, what are you doing with my money? Give the visual, give the audio, make it personal, bring it home. I mean, media is a big behemoth for a reason. Some people take advantage of it, but media is there to be utilized to bridge gaps.
That's right.
I mean, there's a reason when the most important, powerful man in the world, the President of the United States, speaks, everybody listens.
Yes.
The camera is on.
Yep.
If we were just paying taxes and we don't know where our taxes are going, will we continue to give taxes? I mean, so the bottom line is that the camera is on for a reason. Blot out the noise, continue to do what you're doing because it's the only way you're going to galvanize the people and further charity.
That's right.
Thank you, Samson. We have a comment on my question, Mr. Anthony Palucci. Mr. Anthony Palucci says,
when it is given for a purpose and it is appropriate, when it is personal choice and you record it, it's in bad taste. Just my opinion. Great point.
Great feedback.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. No, thank you for that, Anthony. You're absolutely right. Because sometimes people do give with ill intentions. They don't have good intentions. Sometimes they just want to be seen. That's totally different. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about giving for a good cause, for a great cause, to make an impact in the community. And to your point, Sam, galvanizing the community. That's what we ought to do. Because then we're not giving anything. They're complaining, well, what are you guys doing? No one's helping our community. No one's doing it. So when we do give, we need to elevate that, and we need to shine a light on it. Right? Because we have good motives behind that. The reason why we're doing it, to make a difference, to make an impact, and to help families become stronger, and again, leveling up.
And then the communities, other communities will say, hey, y'all did that next door. Can y'all come over to my community as well? And I'm telling you, it's something that is inherent in all of us to want to help. Yeah. And if we see that it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, right? So if we see one community benefiting from it, another community will want to be engaged in a part of that as well. Next thing you know, you got new sponsors. Now you're branching out. Your tree is broadening, and you're providing more support. So I think it's a beautiful thing. I've seen it all across the United States, how it's done.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's infectious. It's absolutely infectious. And that's why, again, back to our earlier point, that's why God created us, to help one another, to help lift up people and empower one another. That's what's pushing his ministry. That's how we are advancing the kingdom of God. We're not here just for ourselves. We're here to be a blessing to other people. And that's how we should be connected. That is the disciples' cross. You got the vertical relationship with God, but you've got the horizontal relationship with one another, the fellowship. So that's key. That's important. Any more comments or questions? Because we are almost out of time.
No, ma'am. Mr. Palucci and Mr. Sinatra have grown quiet. I have quite a few people tuned in on Instagram, but they are just checking us out.
Well, hopefully they're taking notes, copious notes. And I hope my inbox is flooded with emails and comments and questions about how I can help you guys.
I would like to add to the listening audience, whether you're watching the replay or watching us live, we encourage you to hit the love or like button as many times as you feel like. I don't care if it's 100 times in a row, just hit that like or love button. That helps us out as a show, that helps us out as a station. Number 2, tag other people who need some of this information. Tag them to the video so they can watch with you. And number 3, please hit the share button.
And well, so Sam, do you have any last thoughts or comments that you want to share with our audience?
I'll just say thank you. If I had 10,000 tongues, I couldn't thank you enough. Any opportunity, Ro, for me to come on and share with your audience, with anyone that has a desire to learn something that they do not know, that way they can benefit their lives and benefit the lives of others, I'm all for it. And I'm a part of the whole FIRE initiative, which is Financial Independence, Retire Early, FIRE, so it's FIRE, if you can do it. I think the percentage out there is 2% are able to retire before the age of 50, 2%. And so you can be that 2%er. If, again, you follow some of these things that we've shared today. It doesn't take a lot. It just takes more discipline than anything else, regardless of your paycheck. Reduce some of those spending habits and watch how you break the cycle. That's how I'll leave it.
Thank you. It's never too late, so you can start today. Well, thank you for tuning in. Please connect with us on social media, like us, like our pages, and be sure to tune in to next week's topic. Our segment will be on interracial dating, the forbidden fruit.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, that'll be a good one. I love you, and don't forget to love yourself. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. This was another edition of Putting You Back Together Again show. Go and follow Putting You Back Together Again on Instagram and Facebook. You can contact Coach Ro right here on the screen on our website at puttingubta.com. If you would like to send her an email, you can email her right here at puttingubta@outlook.com. She is an executive leader, transformational business coach, financial and life coach, radio talk show host, Coach Rowe, give him a wave and say good night.
Good night, everybody. Take care.
Good night. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Mr. Sampson, good night, sir.
Good night.
Bye-bye, everybody. If you're just now tuning in live or on the replay, last but not least, I want to make sure you know exactly what you're watching. I'm going to put the official flyer for the show up on the screen as we're closing. This is the official flyer. This has been another edition of the Putting You Back Together Again show with Coach Rowe and CJ. CJ, thank you for tuning in. He was tuned in on Instagram. Good night, Sampson. Good night, Coach Rowe. But we want you to tune in every Tuesday night from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. to the Putting You Back Together Again show with Coach Rowe and CJ. Good night. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
1,